Ma'am, you are mute, not audible.
Sorry, sorry. Thank you so much. Happens, sometimes happens. Thank you so much. Got it. So I just spoke for 1 minute and no one heard it. Okay, so guys, I was, just telling that I'll just explain you how this session goes on, right? So first thing is I introduce myself. Second thing, I take few of yours introduction. The third thing is I introduce you to the teacher. And the fourth thing is the session goes on. Now, while this occurs, there's a request to every one of you. Supposedly, you have certain doubts or you want to tell something. It's a request to, unmute yourself only if and when required. Now, suppose you have certain background noises, you can put your doubts in the chat box so that other people are also enjoying the session, right? And also, supposedly, guys, you have any doubts throughout the session, I want every one of you to rectify it by the teacher. Okay, in the end, we are going to keep a doubt clearing session as well. Now, as you all know that learning sketching in one particular workshop, it's really impossible, right? It's next to impossible. So that's the reason people who are actually interested to learn this from the teacher in advanced level. So we in BitClass, we have also bought you a special masterclass. Got it? So what is that masterclass? Everything I'll share in the end, do not worry. And also, guys, I want every one of you to stay till the end because I've got exciting surprises, right? Christmas surprises from me. So guys, without any further ado, I'll just start this session. So today we have Amrita ma'am here with us. She's one of the best teachers we have in BitClass. And trust me, you'll come to know that, right? And in between today, it's Christmas. I want energy throughout this session. So can we quickly do one thing? You need to unmute yourself and tell hi ma'am, and then you need to mute yourself. Can we do that? Everyone, guys?
Recording in progress.
Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we do that? Everyone, can we do that? Can we quickly unmute ourselves and tell hi, ma'am? And following that, we'll start.
Hello,
Quickly.
Hello, ma'am.
Oh.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay, done. So, Amrita ma'am, I believe we can start this session.
Yeah, sure. That's great. I can see in the chat there's someone called Dinesh who said they're a junior lawyer. That's great. For those who don't know, I'm actually a law student. I'm studying law right now. So let's get started.
In between, ma'am, the paper is a bit blur.
Yeah. I know. I'm waiting for it to focus.
Okay, done.
It may happen a few times. Let me know if it stays for too long because my hands are moving, right? So Zoom doesn't catch as soon as it is.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Okay. Guys, I do want to know if any of you have any kind of, prior art experience, and if any of you are going to do it along with me so that I can suggest you with the material that you're using. So do let me know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. So meanwhile, let's get started. To begin with, we're going to draw the eye. We're going to draw an eye today. Okay, the basic thing. I feel like the eye is the most beautiful part of a face, and I just love doing it. So let's start with the basic outline. I'm just going to draw a line. Also, these are just guidelines, so I want you to draw very light. Okay, if you're going to do along with me. I want you to mark 2 points. This is going to be the size of your eye. Make it as big as you want, as small as you want. It's up to you. And mark a point right under it. All right. Yeah. So like right under it. Okay. Just a little. And draw a slanting line. Okay. And mark 2 points, one above and one below. Okay. This is going to be the width of your eye. Normally, this is a little bigger than this. So you can take an approximate. Since we don't have a reference, we are just going to go ahead and do it from our imagination. So we don't have too much restrictions as to like how it should be. I just joined it. Basically, I made a mountain over there. And I want you to write draw the alphabet C.
Just a moment, ma'am. If you could just, move your camera tilt a bit because it's horizontal. If it could be vertical.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
Great. So now, guys, everyone can view it, no? Now it's better?
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Oh, no.
It totally slipped my mind. Thank you, Munda. Okay, so I want you to draw an ulta C. Basically, it's like this is C and this is ulta C. All right. See, the thing is that people generally complicate things too much. They think of things in very complicated way. I don't like teaching that way, because complicated things are not something that is very cherishable. Your brain doesn't remember them easily. So we'll just remember things in very simple ways. I want you to take a curve, a light curve, okay, and then join this dot, okay. Don't make this too big. I've noticed that people go a lot, like, they make it almost like an ulta u kind of a thing. Don't do it that way. Just tiny curve and join it. So that's like the easiest way you can learn your the basic guideline. All right. And now I want you to draw another arc, basically the same shape as this. Try to make it the same shape. We'll be talking about the anatomy of the eye. We'll be talking about how you can analyze it. You can actually draw this using a circle also. That is a part of the anatomy that will be covering in our next classes. Okay. And I want you to draw another C here. All right. Also, guys, do let me know if I'm going too fast, if I'm going too slow. If you want to ask anything, always feel free to ask me. Okay, I'm open to questions. I want you to draw a circle in the middle. See, normally people suggest, and according to the anatomy also, it's like this eye. If you draw it a little bigger, a little higher than this point, don't join it. It looks good, but also I personally feel eyes which are like a little bigger. Actually, the eyeballs which are a little bigger look much better. So it's again take your call. It's an imaginary eye. So that's our outline almost, right? So I want you to draw a circle in the middle, okay, and a circle on top of it. Like basically, like a circle is wearing a cap of a circle and another cap like this. Don't draw it through the circle. It's almost like it's like an arc over here above it. Right. Are you guys able to follow so far? Can I get a few S's, or can people unmute and tell me if you're able to follow? Oh, that's awesome. So normally our eyebrows start halfway through this, okay, like approximately over here is where your eyebrows are. Ma'am, your video sometimes blurred. Yeah, Dinesh, that happens because this is an art class, and Zoom sometimes, it doesn't catch on to the movement as fast, so it kind of takes time to focus. Mm, if it stays blurred for too long, like
So
I can see.
I believe, ma'am,
Yeah.
if you just move the camera a bit backwards, that might help.
uh
If you,
okay, if you feel that works, is that okay?
yeah, that's okay. If you just yeah, so that's better, guys, right?
Okay. All right then. That'll be fine. Like, I don't know only. Do let me know if it blurs again, all right? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So this is approximately where your eyebrow starts, all right? And if you draw a slanting line over here, this is where your eyebrow ends. Okay. Again, as I told you, this is an entirely imaginary eye, so I don't want you to be very particular about things. It's okay, go a little crazy, it's okay, because we don't have a reference, right? So around here, if this is the whole eye, approximately over here is where your arc normally tends to be. Okay. So this will be our eyebrow length. Okay. Um, yeah, this will be the eyebrow. So instead of drawing block eyebrows, let's draw like, like hair-like structures like that. Okay. And an above one, just to mark where our eyebrows are gonna go. As I told you, you can change the shape, because again, all these things are not things that are like, particular about, like it's not something that is standard. All right. everybody has different eyes. Like I have different eyes, Manda has different eyes, Dinesh may have different eyes. Like, it's different for everybody. And below, I want you to draw kind of, a structure like this. Like it don't follow the same shape here, a little more curved, maybe a semicircle. Like don't fill it, just this corner and this corner. Mark it so that we know where to work with. Are you guys able to follow so far? Is anybody doing along with me? I'll wait. Okay. Right. So now what I want you to do is we are going to mark in charcoal. It's important to mark all the darker sections, like to mark all the shadows first. Okay. So I'll be marking a few, like I'll be making it dark. I'm using charcoal pencil now. Before this, I was using graphite, which is normally used for outlines and things like that. I'm just going over it with charcoal, nothing else, just making it darker. I'm going to fill the center circle. Okay. And while filling it, use circular motion, use circles, basically draw circles like that. Okay. And don't fill this top circle, the circle which we drew on top, don't fill that. This arc that we drew, fill the above part of it. Okay. Again, use circular motion because it's a little, we don't want texture to be seen, that normally isn't, because we are making it dark. But yeah, either way is also, like, we don't want to risk it, so just use circular motion so it just smoothens out well and it just looks good. And there are no real particulars on that. Also, I'm going to mark the outline of the circle. Right. I'm going to outline the bottom part only till here. Okay. And this section also, because this is also a little darker. We have a few shadows here. Okay. There's something called a waterline. I don't like to draw it entirely. Just draw the beginning of it over here. It's basically another line next to the lower lash, lower waterline. It's like, if you look at yourself, your eyes, you're under the lower eyelash that you have, like, the, oh my god, I'm having a train of thoughts which are like, okay, just give me a minute, let me collect myself. So your the eyes, under your eyes, you have this thing called waterline. All right. Okay. I also want you to darken this upper flap that you have. This is just your skin folding, because when you close your eyes, you have a lot more skin. And like, when you close your eyes, your skin is like not spread out. And again, when you open your eyes, you have a flap here, which is obvious, like, and also darken this section. Okay. Don't make it too dark. All right. Try to keep it as light as possible. Is the video hanged, Mantha?
No. It's fine. It was quite before.
Okay, all right. Okay. I want you to hatch now. Hatching is basically to draw lines next to each other like that. Okay. Like right next to each other. Make sure you're holding your pencil in the corner. Okay. Holding it in the corner always gives a lighter shade. All right. If you want to draw very dark, or if you want your tones to be dark, hold it here in in the corner, like a normal pencil, right? If you want it to be lighter, hold it in the corner. Okay. Hold it at an angle, because this is charcoal and it works better when you want smoother results. If you hold it at an angle instead of holding it like that and drawing like that. Hold it at an angle so it gives you a better and smoother result. And I'm going to hatch the whole section. This is going to be my skin. So I'm basically just adding a tone over there. I'm adding a a little bit of charcoal so that I have something to blend on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase this guidelines that I drew, the line in the center and the, the slanting line and all that. Don't have to erase it as much also because it's very light and it'll blend out, but just in case. Okay. I'm gonna the bottom part also. So I want you to go over and use another layer of charcoal in certain section. This is going to be our shadow. This can actually be a second layer, but it's easier to do it in the first layer itself, so it's fine. Just observe what I'm doing. This is the section where you normally have a shadow, and this part I'll just mark where we normally have a shadow so that you'll have an idea. This section and underneath over here is where we normally have a shadow. Okay. I'm going to go over this section, which I said this is where your highlights normally lie. I'll be explaining what are highlights and all this. Basically, I'll be explaining all of this in detail later, but then basically, what your highlights are the sections where there is the most light on. Okay, and the shadows basically, it's like as the word says, the light and shadow. Don't complicate things, just understand them in very simple terms because art is not like a theory based thing. You should enjoy your process. I'm just leaving this section so that we can have that highlight to achieve good realistic images, right? Or good realistic drawings. It's very important to understand your shadows and highlights and the balance between them. You can see in my drawing also, as I'm adding the shadow, it's looking more realistic. Before it looked like a drawing, like it's like it was a 2D drawing, but as we add the shadow, it's going to look more realistic and pop out of the paper. I'm going to add a bit of shadow over here also because this is also a section where there's shadows. I'm going to extend this a bit, and I'm going to add shadows over here. I know the lines are not that prominent, but I'm actually hatching here. I don't hatch with my corners because we don't want that kind of marks and textures. In case we do, that is a different place. There are certain places where we do need textures, right? So let's blend this and move on to the next step. I want you to take your tissue paper that I had mentioned. If you don't have tissue paper by chance, you can use cotton also, but I don't suggest cotton because it doesn't blend as well. Just fold it up and use circular motion, okay? And just blend it like that. Don't worry about it going into the center of the eye and all that. It's totally fine, because our eye, the center part, the white part which you can see in your eye, I think it's called the sclera or something. So the white part in your eye is not normally completely white, so it's okay to have a kind of grade over there. Just blend it in. Are you guys done so far? All right. So I'm just going to darken this section. What we are doing again, this is the this will be the second layer. What we are doing now is just darkening the section and making it more prominent. Okay. Don't make it too dark in this place. Always have a good pressure control on your pencils. I'm going to darken the upper eyelid. I'm doing it completely over here because our upper eyelid has eyelashes which are very long generally, okay, and bottom doesn't really have that much, and also the eyelashes, are directed downwards, so it really doesn't have that much shadow there. Just marking that C again. Going to mark two more C like structure in the middle over here, okay, and I'm going to just fill it in with that same kind of stroke. Have the direction like that only, and leave a few parts for highlights. Like if you can see, I've left highlight here, I've left highlight here. Maybe if you don't know how to leave it that way, you can just draw circles in the middle and leave that circle and then shade. Just going over the bottom part over here. We had marked all this in the first, right? So I'm just darkening it lightly, that's all. Make sure you're not darkening this too much because it doesn't look good. All right. Again, all this depends on the lighting, like what kind of light the subject is, like the person you're drawing, or the picture, what kind of lighting is there in the picture, how do you edit it to get the right kind of things. All this are very important to understand. I'm just going to make this a little darker because I feel the shadow over here is normally a little darker, and I'm not happy with the grade that I've achieved so far. You don't have to do it if your drawing has already gotten a very dark tone over here. Hmm. When I started, the first thing I actually drew was the eye, and I really love drawing eyes, and that's like my favorite part of the face. That makes sense. Okay, we are almost done. Just a few more things, and we'll be ready. I mean, like the eyes will be ready. Just darkening the center part also. Also, I'm outlining the eyeball. Now I want you to draw strokes, okay? Basically, over here, the stroke will be straight, and as you move on, it's going to change its direction. Don't draw all of it in the same direction. Don't use the entire tip of it, okay? Don't hold your pencil like this, like how you write, and use the tip of it. Use it at an angle, not a complete angle like this, at an angle. So you get kind of a smooth result, but not too much. Also from outside, it's going to be inward strokes. Okay. And same thing again, it's going to be straight here. And as you move on, it's going to just curve towards the center. Are you guys done so far? So I'm just going to blend the center part. If you don't have brushes, okay, this is something I figure a lot of people don't have. Use makeup brushes. Makeup brushes have the best result. If you don't have brushes, get your earbuds, okay, and use your earbuds. If you want to use it at smaller sections, what you do is you pull the cotton out of your earbud and twirl it so that you'll have a better, a smaller section to work with. And I'm just going to blend the outside of the circle. Don't blend the strokes yet. Just blend this outside part, the center part, and these. Now, while blending the strokes, make sure you're blending it in the direction of the stroke. Like here, it will be straight, and as you move on, it's going to, your direction of your stroke will turn like that. Yeah, what confusion you have, Danish? Oh, sorry, I thought that was. Yeah, Danish, tell me what confusion you have. Or you want me to show you the whole thing again? Okay, I guess you're typing your question. Meanwhile, we'll blend this top part. Okay. So basically, what your inner strokes are going to be is, if this is the center of your circle, right? This is the circle which we drew. Okay. There's another circle on top of it, right? So what your stroke should be is, in the starting, it should be straight, right? As you move on, it should change the direction. If you remember, when we were in school, we used to draw that sun, right? Like we used to draw a smiley face and we used to draw a sun like this. As the direction of the sun moves, like it's not like we are drawing straight lines here everywhere, right? Not like that, right? It's moving along with it, like the Ashoka Chakra, right? So that's what I mean over here in the center. Your stroke should move along with the circle. I hope that clarified. Just gonna blend this C part. I'm just gonna pull the charcoal and drag it along the line and make it meet in this section. It just has that kind of effect that, yeah, there is a waterline there, there is the lower eyelid, but then it's not too dark, right? Very dark water lines look really odd, but again, it depends on your preferences. Like for example, I like to draw very dark and very luscious eyelashes, but normally people don't like that. So here, as I'm blending it in the same direction as the strokes I gave. Like I'm basically drawing C's with my brush now, or with your earbuds. And I'm just going to blend this section. I'm just going to use circular motion. Always remember, for skin and other parts of skin, always use circular motion. If your earbuds has too much charcoal in it and it turns out dark, just use a new earbud. Don't use the same thing. Brushes also, normally you should clean your brushes. just gonna, what I'm doing is I'm just blending here and pulling it down, blending and pulling it down, right? I'm gonna blend this section also. And this. Okay. I just want to blend this top part a little bit. So I'm just going to use my tissue. If you feel it's blended already, if it's smooth, don't blend it again. Do you guys have any doubts so far? I hope I answered your question, Danish. I didn't get any clarification over that. Okay.
Ma'am, Rashmi is showing her work. If you could just check.
Yeah, sure, sure. Good job, Rashmi. Are you using charcoal pencil, Rashmi? Could you, is it okay? Yeah, it is good, but are you using charcoal pencil? What I want you to correct in this is add a little more shadow over here, right? And blend it a little bit more, all right? Otherwise, I like the shape of it. You've got the shape of it pretty good. You're using a normal pencil, right? Yeah, you're using graphite. And this section, I can see that line over there, right? So make the top part a little darker so that it'll have that more blended effect, okay? And don't do anything with the circle. Leave it empty as much possible. So for the eyebrow, before that, we'll just finish this off itself. So I just want you to use the same earbud that you have a little bit powder with, and I'm just going to work on this, right? Always remember, use your brush or your the earbuds in circular motion. Just blend it in like that, right? And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. If you remember, as I was talking about shadows and highlights, right? Like if you can observe, without the shadow, it still looks a bit 2D in a certain places. But with the shadow, it looks much more, it pops up much more. So that's like the one way you can get really realistic, results. I'm just blending it all over. If you have too much charcoal in your you know earbuds and you put it somewhere, you can again use a clean earbud and clear it, right? That's still possible. It's not a lost cause. So for this section where we need to draw the eyebrow, I'll be showing you the general direction of it. In the beginning over here, it's going to be straight lines, right? It's going to be straight like the hairs. Also, one more thing, when you're drawing anything related to hair, eyelashes, eyebrow, hair, anything, always have make sure your pencil is like super sharp. That gives you better results. Okay. And as you move on, your strokes should kind of just bend towards it, towards the corner, right? And don't draw strokes all over the eyebrow. Leave the top part empty. We'll be drawing it from the opposite direction afterwards. I'll show you. Okay. See, what I'm doing is I'm drawing strokes. And as I move on, it's kind of bending down. That's what I mean. For the top part, we're going to draw it in the opposite direction, like that. So basically, it's forming a kind of V structure over here, right? The center part is normally the darkest part of your eyebrows. You can make this very clean, like have a proper direction, like proper length to it, or you can make it a little shabby also, because not all eyebrows are like completely made, and people don't maintain it all the time, right? Looks more natural with a lot of loose hairs, I feel. So I'm just gonna blend it in the stroke direction. As the stroke moves, move your brush or your earbuds. Okay. Right. I'm just gonna add a few finishing touches to it. A few extra hairs here, like few smaller ones, few loose hairs. Right. Are you guys done so far? There's just one thing left. So for how much long this record is? Okay, now that go through again. Mm, normal one. Manda, could you explain me what these questions mean? I'm not able to understand a few of them.
Okay, so guys, first thing, as it's a demo session, the recording for a demo session isn't provided, but the recordings for the masterclass is being provided to you, and that too for a lifetime basis, right? So, Siddhi ma'am, I hope that question is answered.
Okay. For your eyelashes, right? Have a stroke like this, like how in your lower school you have that wrong and tick mark that your teachers you will give you, right? So it's going to be a stroke like that. Okay. Draw one straight one